Hello, my dear students. Welcome. Today, we're going to talk about a chapter that sometimes feels a little bit difficult: acids, bases, and salts. But don't you worry at all. We will make it so simple, so easy. We'll go step by step. Cello, let's begin.
First, let's start with a little thought experiment. Have you ever wondered why, on a hot day, your nimbu pani tastes so sour and tangy, but a bar of soap, if you accidentally get it in your mouth, tastes so bitter and yuck? And why does it feel so slippery? They are so different, no? Well, the answer to this little mystery lies in chemistry. So to solve this mystery of the lemon and the soap, we first need to meet the two main characters of our story today. They are two big chemical families called acids and bases. You can think of them as the fundamental building blocks for everything we're going to learn.
So what really makes an acid and a base a base? It's actually very, very simple. Look here. When you put an acid in water, it releases hydrogen ions. We write that as H+. A good example is hydrochloric acid, or HCl. Now a base is the opposite. When it's in water, it releases hydroxide ions. That's OH-. For example, sodium hydroxide, NaOH. So please, if you remember only one thing today, remember this. Acids give H+, and bases give OH-. That's it. That is the main difference.
Okay, so we know the definition, but imagine this. I give you two glasses, both with a clear liquid inside. One is an acid, one is a base. How will you find out which is which? Now, rule number 1, beta, you must never ever taste chemicals in a lab. So what do? Well, we use some special chemical detectives, and we call them indicators.
These indicators are so clever, they just change their color to give us a clue. I'm sure you have all used the most famous one in your school lab, litmus paper, right? The rule is very simple to remember. An acid will turn blue litmus paper red. Think of it like acid is danger, so it shows a red signal. And a base does the opposite. It turns red litmus paper blue. There are other detectives also, like phenolphthalein and methyl orange, who help us solve the case. All right, now for the most exciting part. We know that acids and bases are total opposites, aren't they? So what do you think happens when we mix them together? Is there going to be a big fight? An explosion? Well, what happens is something much more elegant, a very, very important chemical reaction. Let's see what it is.
Think of it like a recipe for a dish. First, you take an acid, say our friend HCl. Then you add a base, like NaOH. When you mix them, poof, they completely cancel each other out. The H+ from the acid and the OH- from the base, they come together to form simple, harmless water, H2O. And what is left over? A salt. In this example, we get sodium chloride, which is nothing but our common table salt that we put in our food.
Now, this very important reaction has a special name, and you must remember this keyword. It's called neutralization. Why? Because the acid and base make each other neutral. They calm each other down. The result is always a salt and water. This idea is one of the most fundamental concepts in all of chemistry.
Now, a question for you. Is the acid in a lemon the same as the acid in a car battery? Of course not. The lemon juice is weak, but the battery acid is very strong and dangerous. So how do we measure this strength? For that, we use a special kind of scorecard. It's called the pH scale, and it runs from 0 to 14.
It's a very simple scale. The name pH stands for power of hydrogen. Look here, any value from 0 up to 6 means the substance is acidic. The lower the number, the stronger the acid. The number 7, right in the middle, is perfectly neutral. This is for things like pure water. And anything from 8 up to 14 is basic. And here, the higher the number, the stronger the base is. So you might be thinking, ma'am, why is this pH scale important to me? Let me tell you something you'll never forget. You all love eating sweets and drinking cold drinks, don't you? Well, after you do that, the pH in your mouth drops below 5.5. And that, my friends, is the danger zone. At this acidic pH, your strong tooth enamel starts to melt away, which leads to cavities. So now you know the real scientific reason your parents always say, go brush your teeth.
You see, that example with our teeth is just the beginning. This chemistry is not something that just lives in your textbook. No, it's happening all around us all the time. In your home, in the food you eat, even inside your own body. Let's look at some really common examples from our daily lives. I'm sure this has happened to all of us. You go to a party. You eat a little too much of that delicious, spicy chole bhature. And then what happens? A few hours later, you get that burning feeling in your chest. We all call it acidity, right? Well, that feeling is because your stomach, which uses hydrochloric acid to digest food, has produced too much of it. It's literally excess acid.
So what is the solution for that acidity? Well, what does your mother often give you? A little bit of a simple white powder from the kitchen mixed in water. That's right, baking soda. Its proper chemical name is sodium bicarbonate.
Now, this baking soda is a real household hero. Your mommy uses it to make idlis and cakes so soft and fluffy. But here's the chemistry part. Because baking soda is a mild base, it is the perfect medicine for stomach acidity. It works as an antacid. Can you guess what it does? Yes, it neutralizes the extra acid in your stomach. See, acid plus base gives relief, a neutralization reaction happening right inside you.
Okay, let's look at one more example, this time of a very important salt. You must have all heard of POP, right? POP stands for plaster of Paris. It's a white powder, and it has a very special property. When you mix it with water, it sets and becomes hard like a stone.
And we use this property in so many important ways. If someone unfortunately breaks a bone, the doctor puts on that hard white cast to hold the bone in place so it can heal. That's plaster of Paris. And what about all the beautiful idols we see during festivals like Ganesh Chaturthi and Durga Puja? Many of those are made from POP. And of course, it's used to make all those nice designs on our ceilings.
Whew, we have covered a lot today, haven't we? From lemons to stomach aches to festival idols, but I hope you can see how it is all connected. So, before we finish, let's do a super quick revision of all the important points.
Ready? Let's recap. First, acids give H+ ions. Bases give OH- ions. Second, we use indicators like litmus to tell them apart. Third, when an acid and a base meet, they neutralize each other to form salt and water. Fourth, we measure their strength using the pH scale from 0 to 14. And the biggest takeaway, this chemistry is all around us every single day.
And now I have one little homework question to leave you with. We learned that an antacid tablet helps you when you have stomach acidity. The clue is in the name itself, antacid. So my question to you is, do you think that tablet is acidic or is it basic? And more importantly, can you tell me why? Think about our big key word for today, okay? That's all for now. Thank you for learning with me.
आज के समय में सिर्फ रिज्यूमे बनाना काफी नहीं है। जरूरी है कि लोग आपको समझें, आपकी स्किल्स को जानें और आपकी कहानी सुने। आज सोशल मीडिया पर जो दिखता है वही बिकता है। इसीलिए हम लाए हैं रिज्यूम एक्सप्लेनेशन वीडियो सर्विस, जहां आपका रिज्यूम ये प्रोफेशनल तरीके से ये आसान भाषा में समझाया जाता है। दिखो, इससे बनती है आपकी करियर रेपुटेशन और मजबूत होती है आपकी सोशल रेपुटेशन। जब आप अपना रिज्यूम वीडियो सोशल मीडिया पर शेयर करते हैं तो लोग आपको सिर्फ नाम से नहीं, आपकी काबिलियत से पहचानते हैं। क्योंकि आपकी पहचान मायने रखती है। क्योंकि आपकी पहचान मायने रखती है।
हर सफल डिजिटल समाधान के पीछे एक सोच होती है, एक अनुभव होता है और एक यात्रा होती है। यह यात्रा है रविकांत की। रविकांत एक ऐसे प्रोफेशनल है जिन्होंने टेक्नोलॉजी को सिर्फ कोड तक सीमित नहीं रखा, बल्कि उसे समस्याओं का समाधान बनाया। साल 2009, यहीं से शुरू होती है उनकी कहानी। एक सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपर के रूप में उन्होंने CRM और एंटरप्राइज सॉफ्टवेयर सिस्टम्स पर काम किया। .NET टेक्नोलॉजी उनकी तकनीकी नींव बनी। साल 2012 में उनकी भूमिका बदलती है। वे सरकारी क्षेत्र से जुड़ते हैं और BTAST प्रोजेक्ट के अंतर्गत डिस्ट्रिक्ट IT कंसल्टेंट बनते हैं। यह परियोजना बिहार सरकार और DFID यूनाइटेड किंगडम के सहयोग से चलाई जा रही थी। यहां उन्होंने सीखा कि टेक्नोलॉजी नीतियों को कैसे लागू करती है और सिस्टम लाखों लोगों को कैसे प्रभावित करते हैं। साल 2014, एक नया अध्याय। रविकांत केयर इंडिया से जुड़ते हैं, एक वैश्विक संगठन जो स्वास्थ्य, शिक्षा और सामाजिक विकास के क्षेत्र में दुनिया भर में कार्य करता है। यह अनुभव उनके दृष्टिकोण को और व्यापक बनाता है। साल 2015 में वे सॉफ्टवेयर एजुकेशन एंड रिसर्च प्राइवेट लिमिटेड का हिस्सा बनते हैं। यहाँ वे शिक्षा, स्वास्थ्य, चुनाव, पुलिस और वित्त विभाग जैसी महत्वपूर्ण सरकारी परियोजनाओं पर काम करते हैं। यह चरण उनकी तकनीकी परिपक्वता को नई ऊंचाइयों तक ले जाता है। साल 2016 अंतर्राष्ट्रीय अनुभव। रविकांत IPE ग्लोबल के साथ काम करते हैं, एक संस्था जो 100 से अधिक देशों में विकास परियोजनाएं संचालित करती है। लेकिन साल 2017 में एक बड़ा निर्णय लिया जाता है, स्वतंत्र रूप से कुछ अपना बनाने का। परिवार, मित्रों और प्रोफेशनल पार्टनर्स के सहयोग से वे कस्टम सॉफ्टवेयर और वेबसाइट डेवलपमेंट की सेवाएं शुरू करते हैं। साल 2018 से उनका फोकस स्पष्ट होता है, स्कूल ERP सॉल्यूशंस, ऐसे समाधान जो स्कूलों के शैक्षणिक और प्रशासनिक कार्यों को डिजिटल, सरल और प्रभावी बनाते हैं। साल 2019 में सफल साझेदारियों के साथ यह कार्य और तेजी से आगे बढ़ता है। आज रविकांत एक बिजनेस सॉल्यूशंस प्रोवाइडर हैं। वे प्रदान करते हैं स्कूल ERP सॉल्यूशंस, कस्टमाइज्ड सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट, मोबाइल ऐप डेवलपमेंट, प्रोफेशनल एडवर्टाइजमेंट, वीडियो मेकिंग। हर प्रोजेक्ट में अनुभव, समर्पण और गुणवत्ता झलकती है। उनका पर्सनल ऐप रविकांत गूगल प्ले स्टोर पर उपलब्ध है और उनका YouTube चैनल ज्ञान, टेक्नोलॉजी और रचनात्मकता का एक डिजिटल मंच है। दुर्गापुर, पश्चिम बंगाल से वे देश और संस्थानों के लिए डिजिटल समाधान बना रहे हैं। ये कहानी सिर्फ बीते वर्षों की नहीं है, ये कहानी है भविष्य को डिजिटल रूप देने की। रविकांत उन प्रोफेशनल्स में से हैं जो टेक्नोलॉजी को भरोसे के साथ जोड़ते हैं। आज रविकांत उन नामों में से एक है जिन पर संस्थाएं भरोसा करती हैं, क्योंकि यहां सिर्फ सॉफ्टवेयर नहीं बनते, यहां समाधान तैयार होते हैं